Okay, good morning and welcome back to the channel. This is Wednesday morning and I'm hosting some friends for a pizza night on Sunday night. So I'm going to go through the process of how I make the dough and do the cold fermentation over a period of a few days. So we start with 240 grams of lukewarm water. Then we add to that about 15 grams of honey. Honey is basically used to feed the yeast. The yeast and the honey activate. About 15 grams, that's about right. Give that a little stir. Nice little stir until the honey's nice and dissolved in the water. Then I'm going to add some dried yeast. I find it lasts longer. I did try fresh yeast, but I don't have pizza that much, so it's a bit of a waste for me. I'll give that another stir. What I like to do now is I like to give this a few minutes just to make sure the yeast is activating. I don't want to go through this whole process if the yeast is dead. So we'll pause right here and I'll give it 10, 15 minutes or maybe less and we'll see if the yeast is activating. So we'll just pause for a moment. Okay, we're back now. To that I'm going to add 240 grams of flour, and this is the flour I use. I'll bring it a bit closer so you can see. That's the flour I use. It's a high protein type 00 pizza flour. I've already measured out 240 grams, so that goes in. Stirring as we go. Give that a good mix. It's a very pasty consistency here. That's what we want. What we're doing is we're making a poolish. That's going to sit in the fridge overnight. And it's going to help with the fermentation for the rest of the day. For the rest of the week, sorry. I just want to also say that I am not a pizza expert or Italian or anything like that. I'm just an enthusiast. And I've got a lot of my recipes and a lot of my tips from Vito. Vito has a YouTube channel and he's far better at all this stuff than I am. I'll put a link to his channel in the description down below. I highly recommend that you check his channel out because he's a bit over the top, but he's brilliant. So check his channel out. Okay, and what we've got now is a mixture. I'll try and show you that. I should have more than one camera, shouldn't I? That's the consistency. Now I'm going to let that rest covered with a tea towel. Let's grab a tea towel. Grab a tea towel. Cover that over so we don't get any crusty bits on top. And I'm going to leave that for approximately 1 hour at room temperature. Now it's fairly cold in Brisbane today, but it should be okay here for 1 hour. I'll leave it for 1 hour and then we'll seal it up and put it in the fridge. So I will take my leave for an hour and we'll see you in an hour's time. Okay, welcome back. It's been about an hour and a quarter. I've gone a little bit longer than normal due to the fact that it's very cold here in Brisbane today. And my poolish is bubbling away very nicely. It's very nicely activated. I'll see if I can show you a little bit of it. bubbling away nicely. So what we do now is I'll seal that up with some cling wrap. We call it Glad wrap in Australia. I think it's cling film in some countries, but we all know what it is. We seal that up. And I like to run a little bit of electrical tape around it to keep it sealed, because it's going to sit in the fridge for the refrigerator for 3 or 4 days. So we'll tape this up. Put the cover back on, and that will now go into the fridge until Sunday morning. This is Wednesday. Okay, it's Thursday morning. I made a little mistake yesterday when I said that this goes into the refrigerator until Sunday morning. I was wrong. I meant it goes until Thursday morning. So what we do now, we add about 85 grams of water, 15 grams of salt, about 30 grams of olive oil, you notice I use a scale here. I find it more accurate, and you can get better consistency and repeatable results if you weigh the goods, not just use a cup measurement. And we've got 300 grams of flour. Now, according to my spreadsheet, that should give us 60% hydration. So we'll give this a little mix. To get it to come together a little bit, best we can, and then we'll turn this out onto our our pastry mat. Get as much of the flour. It's consistency of a gluey sort of consistency, so it can be a bit awkward. Now we'll need for 10 minutes. I'm not going to make you watch the whole 10 minutes, so we'll speed this up. Just a little bit of a start to bring it all together. Okay, I've set a timer for 10 minutes, so that's roughly 10 minutes. So what I'll do now is I'll put a little bit of olive oil into the bowl, just a splash, move it around a little bit, give it a bit of coverage. This is mainly to stop the dough from sticking. Into our bowl. And this time it will go into the fridge until Sunday morning. I've got that right. I'm still very early in my YouTube adventure. I still get a little nervous as I speak, so that's why I mucked up yesterday. Okay, so we'll get the Glad wrap out again. Seal it up. Nice and tight. I'll run a little bit of electrical insulation tape. Any sort of tape will do here. It's probably not even necessary, but I like to make sure it's It's sealed. I actually don't know why I do seal that. I think I saw it somewhere on a YouTube video. Okay, now this will go back into the fridge, and this time it will go into the fridge until Sunday. Sunday morning we'll drag it out, we'll knead it again, we'll place it in my homemade dough proofing box, and we'll probably knead it again midday, and then at about 2:33 we'll ball it up into its individual pizza balls, put in its dough box, and wait till the pizza night arrives. So see you Sunday morning. Bye. Good morning. Apologise for my throat. Picked up a little bit of the sniffle, I think. It's now Sunday morning and it's pizza day. Yay! I've taken the dough out of the refrigerator and I'm going to knead it again for about 10 minutes. Now, I'm not going to make you watch the whole 10 minutes, so I'll join you at the end. Well, that was fun. I've always wanted to play around with hyperlapse. I hope it wasn't too boring to watch. Now the dough ball goes back into the bowl and I will show you my homemade dough prover. So this is just a broccoli box. You have the foam broccoli box. Inside I've mounted on just a scrap bit of timber 2 little lamp holders with an incandescent lamp in them. Now these lamps are 15 watts. Sorry if that's noisy. This foam is quite noisy stuff. And what I use to control this is an Inkbird plug and play thermostat. Now it turns on the lights at about 21 degrees Celsius and turns it off at 25 degrees Celsius. So it keeps the dough in that Goldilocks zone. So I'll plug it in. As you can see, it's 14.8 degrees Celsius here, so we'll get the tea towel, cover it over, place it in here with the lid on, let that sit. It's just gone 8 o'clock on Sunday morning here. I'll do this again round about 11, and then at around about 2:33 I'll ball it up into its individual balls ready for tonight's pizza night. So rejoin you. I won't make you watch the kneading again. I'll rejoin you when it's time to ball it up at 3 o'clock. Thank you. Okay, it's 3 o'clock and we're going to ball up the dough. So I'll get it out of here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out a 300 gram dough ball for the Neapolitan style pizza. Ball it up, get into the dough box. Now I think I'll take about a 360 for the deep dish. That's a guesstimate more than anything, because I'm not overly experienced with the deep dish, but my friend is going to make a deep dish tonight. As a comparison. Okay, there's the 360 ball. into the dough box. Now this last little bit is 245. With that, I might make a bun bread or a garlic bread or a garlic and sun-dried tomato bread or something similar. We'll see how it goes tonight. Into the dough box. Seal that up. Now this video is starting to get a little bit long, so I'm going to cut it here and do a separate video when we light the fire and make the pizzas. So make sure you check part 2.